the 5th of March, 2024. The 5th of March, 2024, a day that many will not forget soon. Many, including myself, many that listen to this show, many that have been fans of the beautiful game, like a match that you've watched that you'll never forget, be it the 5-5 that those that came before us always speak about, the great 5-5 game, be it the derby when Benny McCarthy hit that overhead kick and many still speak about it today. There's many games like that. One of the best finals to ever be played, the World Cup final of 2022. There's many games like that that many will not forget. Today will be one of those days in my memory, at least, because today will be the day that I came on the air at 6:10 on the mighty Metro FM on Sports That Amplified with Andile. And I've had to admit that my friend is no more. My colleague is no more. That his 19 minutes has been played. He played his first 45 as a son, as a friend, as a leader, a captain, a soccer player. He played his 45 well and left the field to play his next 45 on television as a commentator, as a analyst. And in that second 45, just like he did on the field, he thrived. Here on this show, every single Friday with the Podcast Friday, he gave us life. He gave us a new identity. It's pure Ignatius Mkhonza. My friend is no more. His 90 minutes is up. The referee has whistled all but done. He's ushered him off his field and sent him to his last change room. Former captain of Bafana Bafana, Kaizer Chiefs, Golden Arrows, Bloemfontein Celtic, and many more, will now captain the angels of heaven as they look down upon those that he loved most. My friend's time is up. His 90 minutes has been played. Captain, thank you for leading us. Take care, my friend. This is Thulani Cele.
They kept me in one other place for 9 days before they transferred me to the amazement prison.
You want to stay in Georgia and play football?
Yes.
Thulani Cele. Remember the name. It's it's one of those where lokishini bebathanda ukuthi ngisakula next door kuyakhalwa and next door kuyashadwa, because it was always a possibility that those that plan weddings plan them weeks and months ahead perhaps, and tragedy always strikes, and people couldn't move it aside. And today this show is going to feel a lot like that, because we're going to be building up to Friday, because Podcast Friday was one of Mkhonza's brainchilds alongside with myself. It's something that he said, Andile, man, we need a platform for people to just speak about football. And that's what Podcast Friday started as, and it just blew up to be what it is now. The opinion head of South African football is what it is. It's the leading storytelling as well as opinions and statistical, factual information about football. That's Podcast Friday, and that's where Mkhonza, every single Friday, you would find him. He would drive from Polokwane just to come here for Podcast Friday. He couldn't miss it. So we're going to build up to Podcast Friday, where we're going to dedicate that hour to Spiro Mkhonza. I'll tell you the story of how I came to find out what happened at a 2 a.m. call that I'll never forget, where I heard my friend's last breath. I'll tell you on Friday. Today, you're going to be hearing a lot of him on the show. Tomorrow's the same, Thursday's the same, and then Friday will be the ultimate. Today, though, is another story that was very personal to myself and Timothy Miranda, Malcolm, Tabonkwala, Biso, the guys that run this show. And it's a story that when we put it on Instagram, everybody around the world said, Andile, what is this? Do you remember the story of Thabot? The story of Thabot is that of a boy who left South Africa with nothing but a dream to play football at the highest level. And he knew that he had to go past some leagues before he makes it to the best leagues. And he went to Georgia, a country where you can't find, never mind this is Zulu and it's Xhosa, for a Zulu boy from KZN. You can't even find somebody who speaks English. To cut a long story short, he was arrested in Georgia. He spent time in the maximum prison in Georgia. And, we had to make calls. We dedicated shows and shows to making things happen. And we were fortunate enough to make things happen. And we got in contact with Thabo. And he came out of prison. But when he came out of prison, and this is where the story gets interesting. When he got out of prison, Thabo didn't know what he was going to do himself. He said to us here on the air that, Andile, I'm squatting here and there. I've got a Nigerian friend there, Ghanaian friend there. I'm trying to see what I'm going to do with myself in this country because I don't have anything. Then Metro FM, Sports Not Amplified in South Africa did what they do. We got a call from a gentleman that we had no idea who he was. Listening to the show, Patrick Metswi was his name. Patrick Metswi called and said, Andile, I've just listened to the show. We can't let that be. We can't let that young man stay there because he's going to get into more trouble now. He's pushing his dream and he's saying, I want to at least give it my all. Let's assist him. Can I tell you that Patrick Metswi paid for his entire accommodation for months at a hotel as soon as he got out of prison? Through the show, we have facilitated through the family, paid for his entire accommodation while he was there, including food and whatever it is that Thabo needed. And when Thabo said, Andile, I've done what I came to do in this country, Patrick said, guys, here's a fare for him to get on a plane and come home. And he paid for that as well. This is somebody he had never met. They met for the first time here in studio today because Thabo Cele landed this morning and he's here with us. The young boy arrested for merely not being able to communicate in a language that is foreign to him in a foreign country where there aren't any black people. Spent time in maximum prison. Today is his homecoming. His family's here. And the savior, the true South African, the man whom when Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela dreamt up this beautiful thing called the Rainbow Nation, when we said black diamonds, when we said Ubuntu, we were describing, they both here. For the sorrow that we have in our hearts, let's celebrate something good. It's exactly 21 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. And like I said, there's a reason to smile today because there wasn't when I woke up this morning. But Timothy Miranda sent me a photo of a boy whose face I know so well but I'd never met. And he said, look who's touched down on African soil in South Africa. Malcolm is the technical producer of the show. He said, I can't wait to see the face of the boy that made me cry so much. And he's not alone. Many people, you would have listened, Notlanta, the aunt who's with us, at the people that would call here. There's a lady who called in and said, Andile, that's my little brother too. Magabuye Kai. It's a story that touched so many of us. And I'm so happy that it's come to such a beautiful fruition. Thulani, sawubona.
Sawubona, but Andy.
You're such a shy young man. How are you?
Hey, I'm coping. I'm really coping. I'm trying.
Welcome home.
It honestly feels like a dream to me. Ngati, I'm still going to wake up and batting Sasa Georgia. Honestly,
I must be very honest. We had to actually describe on a map where Georgia is, because a typical South African, which is what I am, for instance, had no idea where Georgia is. And I'd like to think I'm well traveled and, I'm worldly, had absolutely no idea where that country is. We had to look it up. And it's the most obscure of the European countries. You left there, you flew home, you landed, Timmy T picked you up from the airport, took you to your aunt, and I hear up until that point, you were very strong, but you saw family for the first time in how long?
In 2 years. It's exactly 2 years. Because I left South Africa in March, I think, 2022.
March 2022?
Yes.
It's March 2024.
Yeah.
You come back and you see your aunt, the last person to drop you off at the airport.
Yes. She was the one with Uncle Cele to drop me at the airport. And today, they were the first people from my family that I saw. Okay.
Aunt, you were in tears here. Ukhalela mina. Namhlanje uyakhala, but it's tears of joy.
Yeah, Andile. No, it's tears of joy. It's just tears of joy.
Does he still look like you last remember?
No, he does.
Please describe what he looked like when he got here.
Oh my gosh, the hair, the beard. It had not been cut for 2 years.
Really?
Yes, so the first thing he wanted was, can we please take this hair off?
So he's Okundanga or Shefanga for 2 years?
No, I was shaving, but I didn't barb my hair for 2 years. Today I decided to cut my hair because it's a moment that I've been waiting for, to barb my hair and look clean again.
Thulani, you've been so strong when we've spoken to you over the phone, but I guess you had to be where you were. I can see you letting your guard down now, and you're allowing yourself to feel a little bit. I can tell you that you are cared for. Your aunt didn't sleep. Your aunt went up and down. When the story was dying down, it came to us and she said, Andile, please. Your family, your father came on this radio station and he said, Andile, the last words I heard of my son was Sebayang Tata. And as a father myself, and Patrick, who will speak to you in a minute as a father, I can tell you now that's the most harrowing thing you can ever hear. You are safe now. You are home.
It has not been easy, Andile. Like, I still remember the moment like yesterday, how it happened. And a similar incident almost happened yesterday.
What happened?
They stopped there at the boat. They were telling me that they cannot find me on their system. So they had to call the police.
And it brought back everything. It brought back that day when they took you.
It is exactly how it happened that day, when I wanted to come back home to continue to play football. And yesterday they stopped me. And they said my name does not appear on the system. So they had to phone the police and confirm. So they asked me why I had an overstay in Georgia. So I explained to them. I told them that it's because their government kept me. Then they had to phone the authorities, and then they asked for a release document. There's a document that they gave me when they released me from prison, like to use any public transport to wherever I wanna go, but around the country. So I had my document inside my luggage. So they told me that I was supposed to be in the country for maximum 30 days after my release, of which is something they did not even talk about. They did not even write it on the document. When I got off, I had to read the document again to see if they wrote that thing. And funny enough, when I went to collect that document, I was with someone, a lawyer who speaks English, who is a Georgian citizen. She read the document for me. There was nothing like, I need to be out of this country within 30 days. So yesterday they brought it up. They brought it up yesterday, and then they told me that I have to pay a fine for overstaying. Mind you, as a South African in Georgia, you can stay for free for a period of 12 months, which is a year. And I did not even spend up to 2 months in Georgia before I got arrested. And when they released me, they did not tell me anything. They did not notify me that I have to leave the country within 30 days. Because if that was the case, if they told me, that very same day they told me, I was definitely going to leave the country. Because I know what they are capable of. So yesterday they were demanding for a fine from me. They said I can, and it was like 10 minutes before the plane took off. I told them that I don't have anything with me. But as soon as I get home, I will pay their fine. That's how they allow me. And I told them that I only have 10 minutes to catch my flight. Yesterday, I almost missed my flight to South Africa.
It's seldom I'm at a short for words. It's very seldom, but I wanna bring in a man that I don't know where you came from. I have absolutely no idea, but he's the head of legal compliance and human capital. He'll tell us where. That Metswi Patrick, who was just, luckily for us, maybe had a late day at the office, was in his car listening to the show on that day. Nothing is a coincidence in life. Nothing happens by accident in life. Patrick, how are you?
Andile, I'm good, my brother. How are you?
Why?
Look, I've been helped in life. When I completed my studies in Pretoria, for my own sins, I found myself in Johannesburg. And I was helped by a foreign brother, Lincoln Jofu. I stayed with Lincoln for a year. In Johannesburg, in his townhouse, I've never paid a rent, I've never bought a grocery. For a year. And Lincoln never asked for any payback or reward for the period. I lost Lincoln, lost in terms of contact for almost 5 years now, and I'm still looking for him. So if a foreign brother could help me, why would it be difficult to help my own South African brother? That's basically that.
Where was Lincoln from?
Lincoln, he's from Zimbabwe. The father is South African, mom is Zimbabwean. And I can relate a story. You know, when you get to Johannesburg, you come from these provinces. There's only one central place where you normally meet, and that would be the park. I met Lincoln at a park in Regent's Park. At the time, I was washing cars in Rosettenville. So we played soccer in the afternoon, and he asked me, where do you stay? I said to him, I don't have a stable place. Because I was paid 150 per day to wash a car. I'll go and stay in B&B for a night, hope for tomorrow things to happen. When we met at the park, we played soccer. He invited me over to his house. His mom relocated to London. It was him and his younger sister, and he said to me, my brother, I'll share a room with my younger sister. Come and live with me. It's very rare, it's very seldom. So that's why on the day when you had Thulani's father, the Lincoln story came back. I remember vividly where I was. I was driving between Greenstone and Marlborough when I called and I said to Timmy, I'll prefer to remain anonymous because I don't believe that helping should be something that you should stand on a pedestal. I help so many South Africans. I don't take pictures. So yeah, basically that's where every time when I see somebody struggling, the Lincoln story play its movie on my mind. And I'm still looking for the chip.
So there you go. Lincoln Glover, who grew up here in South Africa, has a Zimbabwean mom whom relocated to London at some point, and a South African father. Do your thing. If you know of any such, you know our number, 086 000 2160. Guys, I know we did this outside a couple of seconds ago, but I want to officially introduce you to each other. Thulani, This is Patrick, who didn't even want you to know who he is. He said, let's pay for his stay for as long as he wants. When you said you want to come back home, he said, let's book that flight. But Dr. Patrick, this is the boy whom you saw yourself in.
Yeah, Andile, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect such a handsome young boy. Very shy individual. And I said to the aunt sitting outside the studio, now I can relate why her grandmother said, I never believed in all those stories. You can see how shy Thulani is. His
absolutely
his demeanor.
Humble.
You will not, but the bottom line is, as I said, I think as corporate citizens, we had a responsibility. Andile, I'll repeat this, helping comes with blessings. At a time when we went into Thulani's story, I was with the Mineral Operations Executive. And life happened. We moved on. I said to the executive director who's in Canada, there's a mining industry in Canada. I said to him, look, when Thulani come back, as much as I'm no longer with your organization, I really want you and your executive team to meet him. Andile, when you are in a position of authority and you are tasked with money, particularly that has to do with socio-economic development and aiding South Africans who are struggling, I so wish as people who are tasked with those responsibilities can use money for a good cause, not for their own benefit. And Rashid Khada trusted me with millions of minerals operations executive. You won't believe me, after the first interview we did when I was in Cape Town, 3 minutes later he called me and he asked me why you didn't tell me. And I said to him, you appointed me in a position of trust. For me, it's just to make the organization know. And that's basically what it is. And help where we need to. So Minerals Operations Executive played a major role in South Africa, Andile. The only province that we didn't, at a time when Thulani's story broke, that we didn't touch the socio-economic development or any enterprise or any procurement space, was KZN. And I saw it fit to say, look, we might have our own provinces by virtue of where we mine, because we'll be expected to plow back to those communities. But he's South African who doesn't need much. Mine was just to facilitate. I don't want to take so much points on it. I don't like to be at the forefront. I'm just a facilitator. That's it. And I'm happy today that today we've got him in South Africa. Hopefully Thulani's dad will sleep tonight.
Have you spoken to your dad?
He was the first person I called when I arrived at the airport. I had to call him. I had to let him know that I'm in South Africa.
When we come back, I would be remiss if I don't let Nonhlanhla Shongwe, Thulani's aunt, say something, especially to Patrick, because I know she's wanted to let everybody know. She's done it privately to a point where she felt shy and said, no, please, but Patrick being the man that he is, and you've just heard that, you speak about leadership in South Africa, and we speak about the void of such, and we speak about how, we are not led. No, we might not be led in the corners that you're listening to, but we've got leadership. We are live on Twitter. We are live on X, that is, and of course on YouTube as well. We'll be loading this show on YouTube as a full clip a little bit later on. I want to know about Thulani's future now. I've just gotten off a call right now, speaking to the guys in KZN, because you're going to be going there, the MEC of Sports, Arts and Culture there, to say, hey, Thulani is back, so we must make sure that when you arrive, there is a welcoming of sort, and you do go see the MEC and we can see what we can do. But also, this is the most listened to show of sports in South Africa. Every single coach is listening to this. So I want to know from you your dreams and your thoughts. So think about that so we can digest it. But I'm going to hand it over to your aunt here in a little bit, Unontlantla Shongwe, to say, I know there's a lot you want to get off your chest from a family point of view. So please, go for it.
Yeah, Andile, I mean, at first when this thing happened, we didn't know exactly what kind or in which form or in, the help we wanted. The only thing we knew was we just wanted Thulani back home. So how this thing has planned out, it was really a roller coaster, emotional roller coaster. And I just want to thank, before ngifike kubaba Patrick Metswi'S, I just want to thank the friends, the family, because when the story broke, there was a lot of people who came forward just to, to support with prayers, and when I told them about Thulani being back home, everyone was just excited. So I just want to thank whoever that was with us during this whole thing. And lastly, Patrick Metswi'S, I told him when I met him, also Nami, being Mr. for the first time today, the second phone call when he was assisting us for the second time, I just wanted to crash because, I just couldn't believe there's somebody out there, ongasazi, who would just go so much like as niggas in day and nakhona I really believe it was also through my prayers, God, athinteke wherever he was, he just told me that he was just driving somewhere and he has never thought of calling a radio station, but that day he just felt, let me just give
he's never called a radio station in his life.
And what I'm saying right now, we are so happy as if Thulani is back. We are emotional. And one thing I just need to know, it was like I'm reliving the story back. I'm reliving the story again. Goba, there's so much that Thulani didn't share. And when you see me, I'm saying I'm happy, it's tears of joy, but again it's also tears of I'm feeling it again, because there's also so much that he went through. He just shared with us today. This boy is strong. I think in nine voice humble, soft, but I think he actually know what he went through.
Let me tell you something. This is not something I speak of, and a lot of people, there were some people that said, but guys, what did he do? What did he do? What was it? About 8 years ago, I got arrested for armed robbery. I sold a car, then I was told, hey, this car's got what's called an S mark, which is a mark that police put on cars that have been pointed out to do something. So I went to the police station to check it out. I didn't leave that police station. I spent a couple of days as a prisoner. And my parents came and they did everything they could to clear it up. And later on, it was cleared because a gentleman that had seen me in a mall knew that he knew me from somewhere, and he thought he knew me from the guys that mugged him. Only later, when it was in the news, did he realize, I know this guy from watching TV. But in that whole time, my dad and my mom never asked me, did you do it? Or what did you do? So I understood when you guys said, we never asked him whether he did or not. We know that he's not that person. And he walked in here. Patrick and I looked at him, spoke to him, and we too had that feeling. We too knew that this is not the boy that did what he was said to have done. And it's a belief in you as a person, but it's also a nod to those that raised him. That's why people like Patrick could see into the story and believe in it. We got to get out of here, but very quickly. You're back now. You're still young enough. What are your plans?
For now, my first plan is to fly back to Durban, meet my family. I need to celebrate this moment with them. And after that, I think I'll have to try and regain my psychological strength. And then from there, I'm going straight back to the field. There is a lot that is about to happen. I don't know, but I have that feeling. So I just need to get prepared. Nobody will do it for me. People might feel pity for me, but nobody will come and do it for me. It's myself that will have to do everything. Like, I need to start preparing for the future unforeseen circumstances, whether they are good or they are bad. But I need to get back to the field. I need to start training. Next season will start. Because if I will say, no, it's too early, and the opportunity might not come again. So I need to prepare while others are sleeping. This is what I will do. I will just go back home, meet my family, meet my friends, and if possible, meet those people who prayed for me, the people I don't know about, and go back to the field. I miss kicking the ball too. I miss kicking the ball.
I'm going to make a call, and I'm saying it on the air before I do. Thulani, I know you're listening. Tell your boss out at AmaZulu that Andile is going to call, and he's going to ask that you go and train and trial there. Can't promise you anything. That's all up to you. But I'm going to make that call to say, can he just come, train and trial there? Because AmaZulu are down there. He's at home. And just leave it at that. The rest obviously is up to just that. But a call I can make, and I will make, to say, I'm not asking for favors, but I'm asking that you look at him and make sense of it yourselves. That I can do, and that I will do. But, and I think you're right, the rest is up to you. Your future is only what you decide of it. But I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. And gee whiz, I wish I was a tile on the wall of King Shaga when you arrive at home. I wish I was a fly in your parents' house when you see your father for the first time again. That old man has aged 10 years in the last 2 years. That old man has cried like no man has cried because of you. And I can't wait for you to reciprocate that love by doing well. Because as parents, that's all we ever want. The man sitting next to you here, his daughter and mine happen to do things together in terms of sports, and we support them holistically. Your family supported you with all they have, and which was love and prayers. Thulani, I can't wait to tell the fruition of the story, because this is not the end. I appreciate you, young brother. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you very much, Andile. If it was not for you and the people of South Africa and the Patrick and my family, of course, it was not going to be possible for me to come here. It's not only me that you should thank, and also the people who have been motivating me on my socials, telling me to be strong, telling me that they believe in me, that I will bounce back. They were the people that made me even more stronger. So thank you very much.
My boss here at the SABC, at SABC Sports, says, Andile, how's he getting to Durban? We're taking him. We're taking him to Durban. So there's a lot that we need to talk about, but thank you very much. I can't wait to one day sit on that seat at SABC Sport, the biggest sporting platform on this continent, and say, half-time, Thulani Cele had a great game. I can't wait. Make my dream come true. Tata Patrick, I appreciate you. You've made humanity seem sane in a world that is seemingly very insane at the moment. We appreciate you for that person that's sitting in the car that's going to take the last dinner that we're going to have and give it out the window because they're inspired by you. Thank you very much. But we appreciate you. You want me to take that now? Is it about the bus? Okay, cool. I'll take it just now. Tim Sugazi is on the line because we heard about the accident that the bus carrying players of TS Galaxy had, so we'll talk to him in just a few. We've got to take Tim Sugazi very quickly. He is in a hurry, of course. They do have a game this evening, but we had to take him because of the reports on social media that the bus of TS Galaxy has had an accident on the way to the game. Tim, thank you so much for taking our call and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andile. Good evening to you and good evening to your listeners.
Firstly, before anything, is everybody okay?
Well, yeah. Well, let me start by obviously also conveying our sincere condolences to the Mkhonza family. The news of his passing got to me while we were on our way to Mbombela. Otherwise, from our side, everyone is fine physically, yes, but then mentally, emotionally, they are quite traumatized, to be honest. They are very traumatized, and what traumatized them is what they saw, the experience. It's not easy to just come into a very close shape, with a head-on collision, and thereafter see someone obviously passing on, see a car flying into a rock, and then she passed on. It was a single driver who came head-on, on a curve straight to our bus. 50 meters, 30 meters, 20 meters, she somehow realized or woke up and tried to swerve again back to her lane. She caught the corner of our bus and her car flew and she hit a rock high up there on a hill or mountain, and it came back to ground, and she didn't survive the accident. So quite traumatized, to be honest. I got to the scene maybe some 2.5 hours after the accident, but then I got there when the responsible officers were pulling her body out of the car. But you can imagine our players obviously got stuck in that scenario for 2 hours, with the deceased person still lying around there inside the car. So it was a very traumatic experience for our young guys and our coaching staff. You can see it in their eyes that they are very, very affected. So all is well, but not so well.
You've got Sundowns tomorrow, a big game. Are you going to ask for some sort of postponement? Because what you're telling me, I can't deal with it and I'm not there.
Yeah, man. We're a league that is run obviously by the executive. We'll take opportunity. I had to come down to training as I am here now to also assess again the situation, and thereafter we'll send a communique to the league and to our colleagues at Sundowns for the league to make a determination and a decision, or at least guide us into how matters like these are dealt with. But then the best would be for sure a postponement, but these things, are beyond our control. The executive can make a determination.
Say it's not because you're on the line. It's something that we've been speaking about here on this show for the last 2 weeks. The clash tomorrow between TS Galaxy and Mamelodi Sundowns must be one of the most awaited for games in South African football, bar the derby on the weekend. This is the match that the whole country wants to see, and we'd love to see it on equal paddles. We'd love to see it when there isn't things like this that are barring it. But Tim, to you, your players, and of course the family of the person who, of course, we don't know yet that lost their life in this accident. It's been that sort of day, and we just pass our condolences to everybody, and we wish the players well as well for what they've had to go through. Terribly sorry for this, Tim.
No, thank you so much, Andile, man. Thank you for the support. Yes, the game is meant to be and it's supposed to be, one of the most mouth-watering clashes in recent history. About the derby. And it's exciting. It means that our game in general is taking a certain direction in South African football. In that now we have, one more mouth-watering clash outside the derby. So we're all looking forward to it, to be honest. We've prepared well, and I'm sure our opponents have done the same. They will come in and feel their strongest side, and we'll obviously to go. As my brother Morgan put it, pound for pound, it will be that kind of a thing. But the outcome, I'm sure the public is curious as to what will be the real outcome. We're looking forward to it if it will happen.
Thank you so much for taking our call, Tim.
Thank you, Andy.
Really appreciate it. Tim Sugazi there. Of course, out at TS Galaxy, they had a horrific accident with a car driven by a lady who unfortunately lost her life in that incident. It's 7 o'clock, top of the hour. But before we go, I need to tell you.
Visit betway.co.za and never miss out on the non-stop action. Get way more with Betway.
Looking forward to a week full of excitement, football fixtures? Look no further because Betway has you covered. Enter bet on Betway's weekly Red versus Blue fixtures during the month of March and go into a draw to be one of 500 winners of a 225 Rand free bet every game week. Don't forget to top up your Betway account this Tuesday and you still will extra on your deposit. Visit betway.co.za to see what's in store this week. Get way more with Betway.
Visit betway.co.za to bet on every unforgettable sporting moment. Get way more with Betway.
Never underestimate the power of a small act of kindness. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Those are all the quotes that go hand in hand with what a good Samaritan is. For all of you that listen and engage every day, thank you very much. Timmy, I don't say this often. There's a reason you win Producer of the Year every year. In the words of this show in particular, Olepara, Pela Pela, and so on.